Indianapolis. He is an economics professor, and you may recognize him for being on local news stations. Give him your full attention, be attentive, and if you have questions, wait to be prompted for that, and get a question that will.
Good afternoon. How are you doing? Doing well, thank you. So I hear you're working on a project, is that true? Yeah. So what's your project? Tell me about it. What about colleges? How would you describe your project?
I would describe it as like you're describing it.
Well, you haven't seen my description yet, so you can read mine, right?
University.
Okay. You're trying to persuade someone to go to your college. That's what I understand you're supposed to be doing. What I want to do is help you figure out how do you persuade someone to go to a college. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to persuade you, I'm going to tell you how I would persuade you to go to the University of Indianapolis. Because that's where I teach and I'm pretty familiar with it. So I'm going to give you some tips, and these things might help you put your project together. So what is the final product that you're going to deliver? What are you going to deliver or give at the end of this? In the back? Someone else?
He wants to know what the deliverable is.
What are you going to do? Again, what's your assignment you're going to give and get graded on? Give a presentation. Is it going to be like a commercial? It could be, right? Could be an advertisement. Okay, so I'll help you figure out how to put that together. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. First thing I'm going to do is show you how to go about creating the steps to design this advertisement, or an ad, or a commercial. I know I saw last year, I was here judging, and some people did commercials that were like videos. Pretty fancy. Some of you are thinking about doing that. Some of you gave a speech. Some people did like posters and papers. So there's lots of creative ways that you can put an advertisement together. So I'll show you how to do that. Where we're going to start with is the product. What's a product? Some of you have products with you right now. What's a product that you have? Yes? An item, yeah. I hold up your pencil. That's a product, right? Someone bought that. So you're going to have to develop a product. Guess what the product I'm selling? A university, an education. So that's the product I want to sell. And so you're going to have someone buy that. Who's the person that buys your product? That's right, the customer. They walk in the store and they buy the product. You can't buy a college in a store, though, can you? It's a little more difficult to buy. You can still buy it, and you can still be a customer. So we're going to talk about the customer. And then, have you ever heard the phrase a matchmaker? You ever heard that phrase? You have? What's a matchmaker?
It's like when somebody finds somebody.
Yeah. Someone finds you a friend. So, you know, like my wife and I met each other. There's a person who said, hey, you should go meet her. And no, you should go meet him. So they're the matchmaker, right? So in a way, what you're going to do is you're going to be the matchmaker, putting a university together with a student. You're going to try to put them together. Try to tell each other why it's a good idea for them to get together. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. And then the final product is your advertisement. How to persuade the person to go to your university. Have you guys picked universities yet?
Yes.
We were. Some yes, some no. Okay, well, I'm sure you'll be assigned.
They should all have them by now.
Oh, so you have them, okay. Does anybody have the University of Indianapolis? Oh, that's not fair because I'll be doing your assignment for you. So, okay, you guys got lucky. Okay, so first of all, that's me. That's before I had my hair fixed. You guys aren't into funny stuff, right? Okay. That's me. I'm Dr. Matt. So you just call me Matt. So here is what we call the 4 P's in marketing. This is every marketing plan has this. So you might want to make sure that if you're presenting something, and I assume you're going to be judged, and if you want to win, because does anybody want to lose?
No.
Excellent. We don't like that. Everybody wants to win, right? So you want to make sure you include all the parts. And these are the 4 parts of your marketing plan. Marketing is just another word for advertising. I mean, marketing is bigger than advertising, but it's basically the same thing as far as you're concerned, okay? So there's 4 things you want to talk about. The first is your product. What is it that you're selling? Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing you're going to want to talk about is the price. How much does this cost you? Because every product has a cost, and cost is a very important factor. The next is the place. Where is this thing located? How are you going to get it to your customer? In your case, you've got to bring your customer to your product, don't you? So it's a little different than most products. And the last thing is promotion. That's your advertising. You have to promote your product, your price, and your place. Now, does anybody have Notre Dame? Okay, so you've got Notre Dame. Does anybody have IU? Okay, so you have IU and you have Notre Dame. Which do you think costs more?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, probably a lot. So your price is high. So you're going to have to convince the world that your product is better. So that's a tough job. Okay? So these things all go into play. And we're going to talk about each one of them. So let's start with the college, because that's your product. Oh, I use graphics. Money. I should have plugged these earlier. The place where it's located. And of course, the advertising. That's what you guys are going to do at the end. That's right. That's what you're hoping to do. You're going to sell your university to these customers. So this is what I'm selling. The University of Indianapolis, specifically the School of Business. And so one of the things that we do is we have a logo. You might want to consider putting together a special logo for your university. They may already have one, but you may want to create one that's a little more exciting. This is not the official university logo. This is the official logo. Which one do you like better? You like this one, though. Of course you do. Because this was the one put together by the marketing people. This was the one put together by us boring professors. So clearly the marketing people know what they're doing. They got the dog jumping through the hoop, and that's more exciting. So you're going to want to put together a logo. You may already have one. You can download those off the internet so you have a really high quality logo for yours. So that's the first place you're going to start. That's your product. Now, we just mentioned a couple of different ones. Yours was IU, right? So yours is a big state university. We're not a big state university at the University of Indianapolis. So we've got to convince someone that we're different in a way that they like. We're what you call a mid-sized university. Well, how many people go to IU? You know? A lot. That's exactly right. See, I don't even have to tell you the number. You know the answer. A lot. Over 40,000. Yeah. It's bigger than many cities. 40,000 people. Well, not us. We got 5,000. Ours is kind of like the size of Warren Central High School, or Carmel High School. In fact, we're smaller than Carmel High School. So we think of ourselves as a more personal university. You think it's easy to get to know 40,000 people? No. So we are a smaller university, so we have smaller classes. I went to IU. When I took biology, my science class, I had 300 students in it. My son goes to the University of Indianapolis. He has 15 people in his science class. So we convince you that that small class size is better. We know our students' names. We know the professors know the students know the professors. You know, when I was at the University of, or IU, professors didn't know anybody's name. There's too many of us. And then also, we're a church school. Okay? That means that we kind of say to the world, look, if you want to come to a school that has kind of a religious orientation, that's what we do. Indiana University doesn't. So we're going to try to find people that maybe want to go to a school that's related to your church. So that's one of the things how we're different than a big state university. So what's your difference? Okay, like Notre Dame, that's a church affiliated school, so that you may want to sell that. Because there's certain people who will want that. There's some schools that are international. Maybe you want to sell that feature. So what's unique about the school? Well, we offer something, bachelor's degrees. Probably all your universities hold a bachelor's degree. By the way, do you know what a bachelor's degree is? Who knows what a bachelor's degree is? what's a bachelor's?
A bachelor's degree is the smallest degree you can get.
Well, I would say it that way, but it's basically, when you go to college, if you get a 4-year degree, that's usually a bachelor's degree. So you're going to go for 4 years, and then you can go for another 2 years usually and get a master's degree. And then you can go for another 2 years and get a doctorate. Schools specialize in different things. Does anybody here have Rose Holman Institute of Technology? Rose Holman? Nobody. Okay, well good, I'll use them. Rose Holman only offered bachelor's degrees. They have a couple of masters, but mostly they're bachelor's. They're the #1 engineering school in the country for bachelor's degrees. Purdue is one of the best for doctorate degrees in engineering. So if you were selling Rose Holman, you would sell them on how you're the best in the world at this. And so you would want to convince the students to go to your school. So every one of you, what you need to find out is what degrees does your school offer? Do they offer bachelor's or master's or doctorates? Okay? I am impressed because some of your students are taking notes. So this is very, very impressive. Now, what kind of degrees? So, let me ask you this. What degree do you think that your teachers have? Some have masters, some have doctorates, some have bachelors. I think most probably have a bachelor's or a master's.
Most have bachelors, some have masters.
And then in what field? Yes,
Teaching.
teaching, that's right. They probably have degrees in teaching, education. Sometimes it's not common though, but does anybody have like a biology or sciences or engineering? No? Schools of education? Okay, so if you're trying to attract a teacher, then you're going to say, well, we offer bachelor's degrees in education. Now, if you were, let's say this Rose Holman down the street here at Terre Haute, they offer engineering degrees. They're not going to be getting people who want to be teachers. They're probably attracting people who want to be engineers. So find out what your school offers. That's very important. Let's see. Who has Purdue? Okay, you have Purdue. I just gave you a big hint. What's their biggest degree? Or I'm sorry, biggest field, area. Engineering, that's right. So if you're Purdue, you want to hit really hard on engineering. Very, very important. Does anybody have University of Chicago? You do? You know what area or field they specialize in? Do you know?
What did you say?
You know what field they specialize in?
Business?
Business. That's actually business and economics. They're one of the best in the country. Very good. Does anybody have, this is a tough one, Columbia? No? Or Harvard? Has Harvard? Virginia? You got Virginia? Virginia Tech. What do you think they're good at? Technology? Because it has tech on it, right? But yes. Yeah, they're probably a big engineering school. So you got to find out what your school teaches. That's very important. Now, what else is important, people? Well, in our school, it's Indianapolis. We love to tell people about Indianapolis. We talk about the Indianapolis 500 because I travel the world quite a bit. And every time I go somewhere, like I was in Rome a few months ago, I'm talking to some people there and the tour guide. They say, where are you from? I say, I'm from Indianapolis. I say, Indianapolis? Where's that? What's that? I say, have you ever heard of the Indianapolis 500? Oh, yes, we've heard of that. So they've heard of the race. So one thing we do as a university, we talk about the race and how important it is. And of course, the Colts, right? So for us, that's an important feature. Everybody likes the Colts. So we talk about that. So find out about the city where your school is. And what is it that people probably would be attracted to? Children's Museum?
I did.
Lots of fun, right? Well, that's a selling point. Because why do people go to a university? They go not just for school, but they go to all these other things. Our students will spend the weekend, they'll go to a Colts game, or they'll go down to the Children's Museum, or the 500. So you want to tell your prospective students what's great about your institution. Now, I'm throwing some big words out there, so you all have to ask me if I'm saying something you don't understand. Okay, so ask questions. That's why we're here. So what am I trying to point out here? Take a guess. Yes. I can say people from all over the country can come here. That's one of the things I'm trying to show. That's correct. Yes. Where it's at, that's true, because that's where we're located. What else am I trying to show? The distance. Yes, I'm also trying to show that. Why does that matter? Exactly. Some people don't want to be too far from home. You all want to be as far away from your parents as possible? That's depressing. I have 2 kids, and my son wanted to go as far away as possible. And my daughter doesn't. But guess what? Your parents are going to have to come visit you, right? They're going to drop you off at school, pick you up, maybe visit you. So they want to make sure that it's easy to get there. So what I want to show people is that, look, Indiana, it's basically one plane flight from anywhere. You jump on a plane and you go to Florida or California or New York or Texas. So it doesn't matter where you live in this country, Indianapolis is easy to get to. You have a question?
Okay, I have a comment. I drove all the way from Texas to here.
Okay, far drive. So this is something that you'll want to tell your people. Where are you located? So location is very important. Now, one of the things we like to brag about at the University of Indianapolis, we like to brag about our professors. Because we're special. We do one thing that's different than almost any university in the entire state of Indiana. Our professors have lots and lots of work experience. When I went to school at Indiana University, all of my professors had been professors their whole life. That's the only thing they ever did. Well, we're a business school at the University of Indianapolis. So if you're a business school and you're going to teach students to be business people, wouldn't it be really good to have teachers who have actually owned and run businesses? Well, that's what we do. We, in the entire state of Indiana, our professors have owned and managed more businesses than any university school business in the state. Even though we're a small school, even more than IU and Purdue. That's very important for us, is all this professional experience that we have from our professors. So that's something that we're going to try to convince the students of. Hey, why don't you come? Because our professors used to be professionals. And so they're going to give you lots of good experience. So talk about the professors and the teachers. You know, Indiana University, here I'm helping somebody, whoever's got on you, wake up, you fall asleep. Indiana University, they have a professor 2 years ago who won the Nobel Prize in Economics. Purdue had a Nobel Prize winner once. That's pretty impressive, isn't it? I would brag about that if I had one of those 2 schools. So try to find out some famous teachers or famous professors that are in your school. Because who wouldn't want to go to school and study with one of these famous people, right? So go ahead and brag about that. And of course, does anybody like to play sports? Now, how many of you would like to play sports in college? A lot of you. Guess how many of you would end up playing, I don't know, we have about 100? Guess how many out of 100 will end up playing college sports at a place like IU or Purdue? Out of 100 people in this room. Almost all of you raised your hands, but guess in reality, how many think? About half, you think? Maybe 5? Maybe 1 is right. Out of 100 people, maybe 1 of you might play sports at IU or Purdue or a big university. But guess what? The University of Indianapolis, we're what's called Division II. There's a good chance that about 20% of you could possibly play at our school. So you can play college sports because we're a different kind of school. So it's more likely that you can play college sports at our school than you could at an IU or a Purdue or a Butler or a Ball State. So again, for us, we're going to say, you know what? For those of you that want a chance to play college sports, we're a good university for you. And we're still very competitive. Our volleyball team went to the Final Four this last year for volleyball, the whole nation. Our football team went to the Final 8 last year. That's impressive. So we've got some fantastic. Our softball team, I forget what they did this summer. They were in the tournament, but they were the #1 team, ranked team in the country for softball. So we have a lot of chances for you to play sports, and we're pretty good at it. So that's something that I'm going to sell. So if you have a Division II school, you might want to look at that. Now, what's a division? You ever heard of divisions? You heard of that? What do you think it means? Conference, that's true. It's like a conference. No, not necessarily. That's kind of. Think of it as levels, okay? Think of it as like the major leagues and the minor leagues. Okay? That's what it is. So you got the Division I, which is the really big schools. And then you've got the Division II, which is still schools that offer scholarships, but are a little smaller. And then you've got Division III schools, which don't offer scholarships for sports. So what we've decided at the University of Indianapolis is we want to be in Division II because we want many of you to play sports, and we still want to give you a scholarship to play sports. So it's very important for us. What else do we have to offer? Does anybody like to travel? Do. Have you ever been overseas? Who's been overseas?
Oh, wait.
Where did you go? In the back.
Oh, wait.
Where?
Does that mean like out of country?
Out of the country, just anywhere out of the
Oh,
country.
no.
The blue shirt, where'd you go?
Indonesia.
Indonesia. Very cool. Kuala Lumpur?
What?
That's the name of the city in Indonesia. You don't remember the city name? Where did you go? Mexico? In the back, it's striped shirt. Where'd you go?
China.
China. Very good. Beijing or Shanghai? Shanghai. See, so if you like, so it sounds like lots of you like traveling. Some of you have been traveling around the world. Well, guess what? We, at the University of Indianapolis, we have campuses in Athens, in China, and in Belize. If you come to our campus, there's a chance you can go and study in any of these places. That's pretty exciting, isn't it? So what I'm showing you here is I'm showing you the product that we have. Now, what you have to do is you have to find out about your product. Find out about your university. What things do they have that are great? Maybe they'll have an international campus, maybe not. Maybe they'll have a lot of sports, maybe not. Now, for someone, let's say, if you're looking at a big university, you're not going to be able to sell people on playing sports because very few people get to play sports there. But what about intramural sports? Big universities have very, very active intramural sports programs. And those are just as, they're probably better than some high school sports. So that would be something that you can attract people to. A lot of activities on your campus. Now, what am I showing you here? What am I showing you here? What do you think this means? It's done in purple.
Where you can study.
Where you can study, okay. celebration. People socializing, that's what I was looking for. All of you are correct, but that's what I was looking for. Socializing. People going to a tailgate party. People, hanging outside studying. People talking in their dorm room. So when you go to college, college is not just studying. It's not just going to class. It's so much more. So if you want to attract someone to your school, you want to be able to say, look at all these great things that our students do. We have movies on campus. We had a comedian come to our campus. We sent some of our students on a service trip where they went to South Carolina and helped a poor family. Help a poor family, help some underprivileged children. So our students do a lot of great things. And I got to tell you, we got to brag about the good things because there's some things we don't have at the University of Indianapolis. Such as, guess what we don't have? Oceans. Yeah, there's no beaches nearby, are there? No mountains? No. So, some people want to go. Some people want to go to school in the beaches, nearby a beach. Who has some universities in Florida? Yeah, you think you might brag about the beaches? Absolutely. You might have a university in Hawaii. Nobody? Well, if you're in Florida, you're going to brag, well, guess what? Disney World is here, and Miami, and Fort Walton Beach, and Fort Lauderdale. So, you want to say, hey, because you do more than just go to school, there's all these other great things near our university. So, now, before I go on to the cost, let me ask you, if you've already done a little bit of research, to tell me a great thing about your product. So let me find out who knows something great about their product. In the blue light blue shirt, what's great about your university? Who's your university? Stanford, okay. What's great about it?
The football team really good.
They have a good football team. What else is good about Stanford? Where's it at? Do you know the city? It's in San Jose, California. Palo Alto, actually. Near San Francisco, near the beach. It's in California. Do they have good weather in California? Usually warmer. Yeah, so there's a lot of things about Palo Alto and Stanford that are pretty nice. What's your university? Michigan. So what's great about Michigan's product? Like Tom Brady. Exactly. You like the Patriots? Oh, okay.
I do.
Getting nervous there. Okay, that's great though. You're right. The football team, Tom Brady, they just beat Notre Dame. Jim Harbaugh. There you go. Now, do you know what really, really good school program they have in Michigan? One of the best in the country. I'll give you a tip. Law school. They have a great law school. You should write that down. That's a great law school. So, yes, what's your school? Purdue. Is there anything good about Purdue? I'm just joking. Okay, can you guys can I tell them jokes? Okay, you want a good Purdue joke? Yeah. Okay. How do you keep a Purdue football player off your front lawn? Install a goalpost. Okay, go ahead. Let's get you. Also, what else? Now that is socializing. That's exciting. So you're going to sell tradition. That's a good thing. Tradition. What's your school? Clemson. Okay. What is their big claim to fame? They have quite a few sports. Yes. What else? Exactly. And what state are they located? North Carolina. Good weather there too, right? Very good. What's your school? University of Kentucky. Okay. I got Kentucky jokes too. Okay, go ahead. Tell us yours. Tell us what's good about Kentucky. Football team. They have a great. What kind of program do they have? It's one of the best in the country. You know? Yes. They have a lot of agriculture. They have a very famous agriculture. Okay, let's see, way back. What? By the way, we don't call it U of I, we call it UIndy. UIndy is our acronym. So what's UIndy? What's famous? You're supposed to say Professor Manuel, that's what makes it. Try again. No. Go ahead. Full shirt there? What's your school?
UCLA.
Okay, what's exciting about UCLA?
They have over 5,000 students.
Okay. And who was the famous basketball coach at UCLA? The most famous basketball coach in history. He's from Indiana. John Wooden. John Wooden. Okay. Well, let's move along here. So you kind of got an idea, right? So some of you have already started thinking about what's good about your school. But you know, I've noticed you talk a lot about their sports. But you want to talk about what they do in their classroom, their majors, the degrees they offer. Now, let's talk about cost for a moment. Here's the cost. This is what it cost to go to the University of Indianapolis last year. Maybe it's this year. That's a lot of money, isn't it? So, the tuition, housing, books. So what do you think I need to make sure I'm selling University of Indianapolis? You think when parents see this, do you think they're going to be happy with that number? No. Wait, don't be so quick to answer that, okay? They're going to be concerned. So what do I want to make sure? What do I want to make sure to tell their parents? Yes, we offer scholarships. We offer more scholarships than, let's say, an IU, which costs less. So one of the things we do is offer scholarships. What's something else that we offer that makes us a little unique to justify this cost? That's not what I was thinking. That's a good guess, though. Okay, anybody? Why do a lot of people go to college? What do they want to do when they get out of college? Get a job. That's right. That's quick to answer. So I guess all your parents have been telling you, go to college, get a job, right? So what we want to do is we want to do everything we can to help our students get jobs. So we're going to say, well, maybe it costs a little bit more, but we offer more scholarships, and we really help you get a job. In fact, I can tell you in the MBA program where I teach, it's a master's program, we hire an individual career coach who helps each student. So you get a person who helps you find a job, not just an officer, an individual who's all about helping you. So that's a very important feature. Now, I put this in here because someone mentioned scholarships. That's right, we offer a lot of scholarships. And you got it, jobs. Jobs are very, very important. So what are some of the jobs that you can get if you go to the University of Indianapolis? Well, first of all, we have a huge health sciences department, which is physical therapy and occupational therapy and nursing. So you want to brag about what's great in your school. We're one of the best in the country in those three areas. We also have a very good psychology department. So a lot of our students study psychology and become counselors or therapists. We have a very good computer science department. So I want to brag about that. How many of you kind of know what you want to do for a career in the future? Wow, that's impressive. I didn't even know when I was here. So I just wanted to play soccer and baseball. So what do you want to do? You want to be a veterinarian? So if you want to be a veterinarian, you're going to look for a school with a really good veterinarian program. What do you want to do? You want to be a teacher. So you want to look for a really good education school, right? Oh, by the way, should I ask you who your favorite teacher is? Oh, what about all the other teachers? Oh, there. Okay, what do you want to be later? A what? A veterinarian? Okay. And what do you want to be? A nurse. Well, then you need to go to the University of Indianapolis because we have the best nursing program. So do you see how important this is? And we got business programs, and we have a huge one called kinesiology, so we teach a lot of coaches. And we have the ever heard of CSI?
Yes. No.
Okay.
Yes.
No. Well, CSI, you know the people who do that? They're called forensic anthropologists. Guess who has the only forensic anthropologist program in the entire state of Indiana? University of Indianapolis. So if you want to be a CSI person, you really have to go to art. So do you see how these are important items that you need to make sure to include? So we'll take more questions. So there's so much going on here, and that's what we like to talk about at the University of Indianapolis. Oh, and I forgot to mention, have you ever heard of Miss America? Guess where she went to school? University of Indianapolis. That's right. So now, so anybody want to be Miss America? Anybody? Now, let me ask you this. Who do you think our customer is?
High school students.
High school student? Who do you think? High school student? Okay, so kind of high school student. Okay, so still a student, prospective student. An adult. Okay, you're all the same, kind of the same thing. So, who buys all the stuff in your house? Oh, your parents. Your parents. So you have money, your own money. Okay. So guess who your customer is? Your customer is kind of you, the student. But guess who's the real customer is? The parents. The parents are the ones who's paying the bills. Parents are the ones who were deciding. Yes, the student has a lot of input, but you are not the only person. The student is not the only one in this decision, it's the parents. So we spend a lot of time talking to parents. And you mentioned earlier, what do parents want their kids to get out of college? A job. So when we talk to parents, the number one thing they want to talk about is jobs. Yes, the students are a customer. But the parents, those are the most important customers. Because they're the ones paying the bill. I shouldn't say most important, right? The students are very important. But, you know, if parent says, no, you're not going there, you're not going there. So we have to convince the parents and the students and the high school. Because guess who is the, we'll call it the gatekeeper to our customer? The high school. So I'm now telling you all about the University of Indianapolis, okay? Guess what? If your teachers didn't let me be here, I wouldn't be telling you about it, would I? So actually, the high schools are also our customers. We want to be very nice to them. We want to help them out. You know, we do things like bring the guidance counselors to the university, give them a day on campus, kind of a day off, give them a conference. So we do things to help them. So when you're doing your advertising, think of the parents and the students and the high schools. When you're putting all of this together, those are your customers. It's not just the students. And what you want to do is you want to focus on what they need. You already told me. Parents need you to get a job, right? What do the students need? An education. They want to have, you know, I can tell you, as a person who teaches them every day, who cares what, okay, forget what the parents want. What do a lot of students want to do when they go off to college? Go ahead, say it. Party. Okay. Being truthful, we know it. So what we want to do is we want to let the students know we know what you need. You want to work hard and play hard, right? Please work hard too, at least for me, okay? But we want you guys to come here and also have some fun. So we're going to try to, you know, you're going to come to campus and we're going to take you to kind of some events, some social events, so that you understand it's more than just school going. Okay. And the high school, what does the high school do? If you're working at the high school, money, yeah, I suppose. guidance counselor in the back.
Something that you want to study in college?
No, I'm talking the high school, your
Yeah.
principal, okay?
Oh,
Your principal or your guidance counselor. Do you know what a guidance counselor is? Some of you, a guidance counselor is a person who helps you get to college. So what you want to do is, if your customer is a guidance counselor, you want to make their job easy. So you don't want to put a lot of work on them. You want to make it very easy for them to do their job. If I'm a university that makes the guidance counselors fill out tons of paperwork just to get you in college, and I'm a different university that says, here, just go online and click a few buttons, which one are you going to like better? Exactly. So you want to make life very easy for the guidance counselor. Does everyone work that? Now, what to put on your website? Have you guys ever heard of this new thing they created? It's called the internet. Yes. No? I've heard that this whole internet thing is catching on. And so apparently that's where the high school kids are going to look for information. So what you might want to do in your advertisement is put together a website, social media, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube videos. I guess there's other things out there now, like, what's the latest? Instagram, okay? You can tell I did this a year ago, it's already old news. So what you want to do is you want to put stuff like your website, your phone number, your social media links, so that all of the students out there can get to you quickly. Does anybody here use email? How many of you have cell phones where you text? You know what? When I asked this question like 4 years ago, it was nobody. Yeah, now you're all texting. Believe it or not, 4 years ago, the way that we communicated with students was by email. Now, if we send an email out, nobody responds. Because apparently you're all doing texting now. So you need to have a program that keeps up to speed with what you're doing. So social media is very important. Now, the last thing I want to show you, before I take some questions, is I want to show you 3 advertisements that we put together at the University of Indianapolis to help sell our university.
That's great.
To continue our discussion, the correlation between today's modern comedies and the plays of Aristophanes is totally rocking!
Disclaimer, our professors may not be gamers, but they will help you prepare for the game of life. University of Indianapolis. Personal attention unleashed.
I'm going to show you 2 other ones. Actually, let me ask you first. What is that trying to show you? What do we want to show you about our professors? Yeah.
That they can't be gamers.
So they can't be gamers. That's not the message we're trying to get across. What do you think?
You should hire them to smash a guitar.
Okay. Our message isn't getting across. Go ahead. No. Okay, professors can have fun. What we're trying to get across is we're trying to, maybe not so well, to convince you that our professors care about you. That they're not just in the classroom, but they're actually wanting to help you outside the classroom, so they really care. So they're going to do anything they can to help you. So let me show you another one. running with an athlete around the track and teaching them their class while they're running around the track. So they do it to try to show you that our professors really care. They're trying to help you, outside of the regular classroom. So what I want to do now is take any questions you might have about what I just showed you and how you might incorporate that into your app. Yes.
Do you guys help people go to the NFL?
Do we have people go to the NFL? We had one that I know of. Have you ever heard of a guy named Tom Zuhancic?
No, I've heard of Tom Brady.
Tom Zuhancic, he was with the Colts. And he went to our university, and then he went on to work for the Colts and play for the Colts.
What was he?
I don't remember. It's probably a lineman, yes. Other questions? Fantastic. So I want to thank you all for paying attention and being so cooperative. And good luck on your project, and maybe I'll be back when you go and get it all together. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.